deep, deep in right field. Yes. But now that I've successfully completed therapy, have you seen Stormhawks? Anyone? The weirdest yaoi pairing I've ever seen was somebody wanted only to draw, and it was Stork and Reptron.
Oh.
Whoa.
What?
Just bite the pillow and think of Mother England. Anyway. And actually, I've read some stuff that's been quite brilliant, in all seriousness. Always a perfect gentleman to me. Heero, man, I am home. Kendra! I love you anyway.
For that. We must make one. It has that on top.
Hello.
I have a two-part question. First part is just a silly one. Has the Twinkie of Doom come back to get you yet? And the second part is a serious one. How do you feel when fans like this come and give you these amazing artworks? And I mean, like, how does this make you feel as a voice actor and as a person in general?
I mean, run out of room in your home.
I haven't been back to Dallas for a few years, so I haven't seen the Twinkie of Doom. There's a Twinkie in Dallas that I sign every year. Same Twinkie. Think about it. After the Holocaust, cockroaches, Twinkies. Sentient Twinkies.
Nothing you can say.
This kind of thing. I've said it earlier, I mean, voice work is very anonymous. We go into the studio, we do our thing, we go to work, and then you leave, and you go home. And nobody goes, oh my God, that's like, you taking out the garbage. You're like, wow, I really like your... I was so flabbergasted at the very first con I ever went to, when somebody just did, one of those like, oh my God, you're gonna... Am I on fire? I'm still really overwhelmed, and I've been doing cons for like 10 years now. But I've been doing voice work for 10 years before I ever went to a con. And so just, you go and it's your job and you do your thing. And to find out what you guys are all about, it's why I still, when I go to cons, people go, what do you go down there for? You go to like, that's like, hey, you. And something like that, I don't know, sorry, I'm really, truly are, to use Greg's words, the ADD poster child, especially after sugar. That kind of stuff doesn't happen in the real world. And it's so amazing. And so I've had people come by my place and I've shown them stuff that people have given. They're like, wow. And there's this, anyway, the short form is it makes me feel fantastic.
So you have a nice little room in your house where you've just got a lot of fan art and fan work.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. It's more than just a little scary. It's like this little shrine. People, they're like, yeah, they don't do that. I was like, yeah, they do. You get a chance to. I've had some amazing stories given to me. Like parents that have come up and said, my little girl was diagnosed with this for you, and you spent 2 hours talking with her, and that's the first time in like 3 years I've seen my little girl smile. You get that kind of stuff, and it's just like, wow. It's not always just about making silly voices for a living, which is really what we do. I mean, I have the stupidest and best job in the world. I'm the luckiest man on the planet. And this is just total gravy on top of that. And then, wow. It's pretty special. I can sit there and, when the darkness comes and sort of open up and go, there's people that like I'm what I am, not what I do. Yes, with a V?
On a less serious note, Mark Hildreth is here.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time in 6 years that he's been to a con.
Yeah.
I heard a story, and I just want to confirm it. The first time you two were together, you dipped him?
Mark, you want to answer this one? Mark had never heard of Yowie. He had never been to a con, and we were just standing up there, and it's just like, work with me. He's like, what the fuck are you going to do? Boom. The poor boy has never been the same. No, there's a restraining order now.
You had panel booths. You had autograph booths next to each other. That's definitely not 50 feet.
That's what she said.
Me, the law hat?
Oh,
I know, it's hard to tell. I'm just going.
Okay, like I've seen this video like everywhere, but I have no idea what it means. Are you a cucumber?
I was really hoping that with this, that whole thing would be put to rest. Like we finally got put in the pickle jar. I am not a cucumber. Apparently I am a cucumber. That was one of those that somebody just randomly went, hey, can you, it was like the, do the... I was like, sing the cucumber. I'm like, I don't know what the cucumber song is. Okay, it goes like this. I go, okay, so boom, boom, boom. Suddenly it's animated, it's on YouTube, and woo! Because remember, what happens at the con stays on YouTube.
At least you haven't asked the mini skirt line yet. Unless somebody already has.
Do you have any favorite video games?
I can name one.
Wow, baby!
Please tell me.
Level 71.
Level 80, Death Knight, Blood Spec, number 4 on my server right now. Giddy up. My name is Scott, and I'm a wowaholic. Sentinels. If you see a character named Zither, throw a rock at him, it's me. I've done a lot of voice working games that I've never played that I'd like to. Like, I've done all the Warhammer 40,000 games. I would find it very strange to be playing a game that I could hear myself in. I'm a wowhead. 2 best video games ever made as far as I'm concerned. And, this is not going out on any limb. Half-Life. BioShock. One of the reasons that BioShock is so freaking good is because BioShock is the best voice acting I've ever heard in a video game.
It's amazing.
I actually was just playing some more the other day.
Wow.
The world and BioShock 2 is coming out in November. That's the most imaginative video game I've ever seen. Just the environment, the world they created. I like video games, yes. Yes, I do. That's okay. That's okay. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. I don't care what Gloomy Bear says. Right now, Gloomy Bear says, "Could have some plastic bag in my face. I can't see anybody."
Where's the AIDS?
Oh, what's going on? Oh, good. Apparently they just cleared up.
We found the cure!
Wow, okay, now it's becoming a sea of hands. Oh, jeez, I don't know. I'm gonna go randomly here, and then, there, and then, yes.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
I don't believe in Pokemon. I'm not allowed to because I was on Monster Ranch. It was Suezo, the big yellow eyeball.
Oh my god, you were? I didn't know that.
Bye,
soda.
Captain Dino.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Bunches of stuff. I want the lot small things that you people realize. I'm in the pickle jar. Box of rapidly melting. If anybody wants a Klondike bar, let me know. Right now the hands go. Actually, seriously, because these things are going to turn into like, they're already liquid, I warn you. If anybody wants a Klondike bar.
Oh, you really are like
Behold the behavior of the wild otaku piranha.
Now all the hands go down. Can they answer that?
Oh,
See, they're hard to eat, aren't they?
yeah. I have a question I want to ask you. I'm trying to follow.
Yes?
Oh, well, I know you have a lot of voice roles, and there's so many, it's hard to know. So I was wondering, what was your first animated voice role?
First animated job, period, was a thing called The New Adventures of He-Man. 1988. That was my first ever job. And then I went on, like all the G.I. Joe stuff from the 80s.
Lee Gas. Lee Gas.
Wait, who did you play? He-Man?
French for gas.
Negative. On that one, I was Flipshot, Craig Spizar, and Butthead. Then we just did Masters of the Universe again about 5 years ago. On that one, I was Beastman, Ramman, Stratos, Clawful, Cobra Khan, and Merman. Although, frankly, Ted Cole should have been Merman because he does that Hubble voice better than anybody I've ever heard. Yeah, I got a chance to do some weird stuff. That was my very first gig, and then I think my very first anime gig was Project A-ko. I played 3 different women on that show. Anime is strange. Unusual. Sarah.
When you do that many voices on one show, I mean, how do you keep it all?
Dubbing is actually easier because you're going one line at a time anyway. If y'all watched a show called Beast Wars, that was an example of, because I played 4 of the main characters in that, and the other actors would just be like, oh, Scott's got one of his scenes coming up, and they just go out for coffee. I would just run them back to back. You got no idea how many people are living inside my head. I just get to let them out. People that have watched have said it's very, people always think voice acting is just standing there and doing voice work. It's very physical. It's more like theater. So if I'm, bouncing back and forth between Rat Trap and Dinobot, for instance, on Beast Wars, everything has got to change. The physicality, the brutality. Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? Actually, there was a lot of crotch grabbing for Rat Trap. The final animation was because his little arms were too short. Everything, and then, was beneath your head, his whole thing. It's every now and then I have got lost before, and he just stopped and it's like, okay, wait a minute, who? Okay. When I started doing this, it was like, okay, come up with a catchphrase that'll get you to the character, boom, and away you go. Some people will, if they're doing a scene like that, they will go through, do one half of it, and then go through and do the other half. It's always good to do more than one because, well, we get paid by the character too, so cha-ching. So it's like, this could be awesome. You're playing like 9 characters in that show. It's like, oh yeah.
You voice your own anime.
I'm gonna go green shirt and black hat, and I'm sorry because I'm bad with names.
I have 2 questions. One is, what is the weirdest experience you've had with a fellow voice actor? And the other is, what is the story behind the hat?
This is not
The hat.
the hat. The hat, may it rest in peace, is now being carefully entombed in a small glass case in my house because it went with me to Louisiana and breathed its last. That hat has traveled with me probably well over 100,000 miles. It has been sat upon, shat upon, slept upon. A lot of things have happened on that hat. I lost it in Vancouver randomly on the street. In a city of like 2+ million people, somebody that I happened to know ran over it. And they went, It looks like Scott's hat. I got it back. It's been everywhere. I got this one about a year ago to replace it, and I just went, I can't, it's just too hat. Anyway, the hat started by accident. It was kind of inspired by Steve, actually, Bennett. Because the very first anime con I went to was ASAN in whenever. And Steve wasn't there, but his hat was. His Civil War hat. And everyone was just going, it was like Steve was there. And I went, that's cool. I want that. This randomly, I picked it up in Dallas. And then same with, and I happened to have a shirt that I wore one day, a plaid shirt with the sleeves cut off. And it just kind of became my con suit. Well, thanks. We'll see you later. Is it something I said? Have fun storming the castle. You're gonna run you to take a miracle. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Goodbye, then move. Anyway, so that's the story of that, basically. The whole thing, now it's funny. I can go to a convention and get off the plane wearing a baseball cap and a ponytail and a pair of shorts, and I can walk right through the whole convention. And then I go and I put on the hat and the shirt, and I walk back down. It's like, hey, it's the freaking deal. It's like a patented trademark. Right.
And have you experienced with another voice actor?
Oh God. Like, going to work every day with these people is strange. These are very unusual, creative people out there, What's going on over there?
Some kind of mess going on.
Every day is just odd days at work. It's retarded and fun. You wouldn't believe we're like the world's goofiest kindergarten class without the riddle. Except kids. If you work with kids, they just sit there and read Variety until it's their line. They stand up, they deliver it perfectly, and sit back down and look at you like, you're stupid, sure. Whereas we just get I don't really have a good answer for that. I'll think about that. So I'm going to have something else. And I have the power. Who should I pick now?
Not to be able to use the power.
You will find one who's worthy of raising as your own. Because I like blue hair. Time's up, sorry. Just kidding.
What got you into voice acting? What
Court order. I did not think in my wildest dreams that voice acting was something that I would end up doing as a career, because that was just something magical that people in Los Angeles did. I knew the moment that I figured out that, I've used this line a million times, but it's like, I'm doing for a living what I used to get kicked out of school for, I'm like, nobody's ever going to want to hear those little voices. So I've done it since I was a little kid. I trained very seriously as an actor. I studied Ibsen, Shakespeare. I was going to do it all. So I was a really unemployed actor for a long time. I will never forget being in Disneyland when I was 12 years old, which was an obsession of mine. And I finally made it there, and going through the Pirates of the through the Haunted Mansion, and it was sort of at that moment that I discovered that the voice you heard, Paul Frees, he's the guy you hear through the thing. Welcome, foolish mortals. No. I found out that he was also the Pillsbury Doughboy, and something went beep. I can do that. As far as working in Vancouver, it was not something I'd ever even considered, because there was none, and I literally fell ass first. I stumbled, I got lucky, I said the right thing to the right person in the right way at the right time, and the next thing you know, I was working on this He-Man thing, and prior to that, there really was no industry in Vancouver, so I was very lucky to get in on the ground floor. And, I sort of found the one thing I can do for a living without... I spend a lot of time in small padded rooms screaming. The difference is, I get paid for it. Swine flu, sorry. Not used to air conditioning. Too soon. I saw a guy that showed up on Halloween as Robert Goulet, and it was the day after he had died. Oh, Mindy. Oh. So, yes. You.